Hello everybody, this is Garrett Westfall coming at you with another video game review. I haven't done it in a while. Haven't felt like it. Felt like I do it now, especially with the game I'm bringing you with today. This game I'm reviewing today has had a lot of mixed opinions and a lot of mixed reviews I have seen in the past weeks. The past week, I should say. I mean, it is quite ridiculous. I mean, the scores vary from piece of crap game you shouldn't ever play to ungodly perfect. I mean, it's gotten 9s in certain people's eyes, and it's gotten like 2 out of 10s. I mean, it's ridiculous. The game I want to review today is the anticipated, that came out, recently, Resident Evil 6. Apologize for the glare, but there it is, Resident Evil 6. The sequel to the newest sequel to the Resident Evil series. Most people didn't like 5. I did like 5. It wasn't as as everybody says as good as 4, but I think 4 is overrated. But that's just me. But the amount of just mixed opinions on this game just baffled me. I mean, I didn't get it. I played the game, and I don't agree with really anybody who reviewed it, to be honest with you. I mean, it's not a horrible game by any means. I mean, it really isn't. I think it's a great game, and if you're a fan of Resident Evil or just a fan of killing zombies, I suggest you pick it up. But and I don't think it's a perfect game by any means, and it had the potential to be the best Resident Evil game of all time, but it didn't. It just didn't. So let's start this thing off with graphics, I guess. The graphics are decent. They're better than 5's, but not as good as I expected them to be. I thought they were going to be a little bit better, especially from the games that have been coming out recently. All these, their graphics are really freaking good. They're pushing the limits of the 360. This one just did a little better. So, again, at least it's better than 5 and not a downgrade. That's a good thing. The story. I'll try to be as spoiler-free as possible. Basically, you get to take control of the 3 main characters, because they put 3 different campaigns in here. They put Leon, the protagonist from Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4. Chris, from Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 1. And a brand new character, Jake Mueller, who is the son of Albert Wesker. Yeah, any Resident Evil fan will know what that is, and that's pretty ridiculous. And I lied, there's actually 4 campaigns. After you beat all 3 of the original campaigns, you unlock Ada's campaign. Ada Wong. Yes, you get to play as her again. She's not wearing a red dress, but she is wearing a red, shirt. I guess you could say. Bitch in a red shirt, whatever. But, yeah. I say the story is pretty good. I think it's one of the best ones in Resident Evil, in my opinion. I mean, it's very new. It introduces new characters, new enemies, and, a very intricate story. If you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. And it's an intersecting story. You have to play all the campaigns to understand what happened between all of them. And each campaign fills in different pieces of a bigger storyline, which I loved. I mean, they could have explained a couple more things here and there. It wasn't perfect, but it was still really fucking good, in my opinion. It was very unique for a Resident Evil game, and I loved it. And to be honest with you, I love replaying this story, even though it's pretty long. I'm not even gonna lie. The length of this game is pretty lengthy. Each chapter of a character's campaign can take an hour and 15 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how you play or depending on what difficulty. And there's 5 chapters there's 5 chapters in each campaign. And remember, there's 4 of them. It's a lot of fucking gameplay. It's about at least 25 hours of gameplay at least. That's pretty good for a Resident Evil game. So let's go to the gameplay. The gameplay of this game, I gotta say, the controls are the best in all of Resident Evil. You see, they still keep these, the controls are still awkward. They're still not, they still didn't revert to, Gears of War controls, like that. It still feels like Resident Evil. You can move and shoot now, which is awesome. But, again, when you move and shoot, you can only move a little bit. You really don't move that much. It helps that you're not able to stand still. But the things they changed that I love the most about it is just, in general, it flows a lot more smoothly and makes it a little bit more fun to play, especially in Mercenaries. It makes Mercenaries that much more fun. Basically, the same controls. You aim with one trigger, you shoot with the other, you aim with the two sticks and all that. But some new mechanics they added in there with the moving and shooting. Obviously, pressing both the aim and the fire trigger at once allows you to do a quick shot, which basically just allows you to pull out whatever gun you have and just quick fire at the nearest enemy. So it'll all walk onto the enemy and shoot them, and it'll waste your fatigue bar. I'll get into that. They have a fatigue bar now because now the characters have melee. When pressing the fire trigger, while you're not aiming, allows you to melee. So you can melee zombies all you want, but if you get surrounded, it ain't going to help much. And if you use it too much, you're going to run out of stamina and get tired. While you're aiming, you can jump, basically by pressing any direction in A, you can either dive forward, back, left, or right, and dive different sides. And instead of like in Gears of War where you dodge roll, you actually jump backwards and usually land on your back. So you're on the ground, firing on the ground and rolling away, then getting up. So you're not just like, dive, get back onto your feet like, he's an acrobat. Most people who jump backwards isn't going to be able to do a rolling, up to their feet. So, I like it. I mean, I think the gameplay is amazing in my opinion, the best of the entire Resident Evil series. But we do have to go into the camera. Yes, the camera is bad. I mean, I've played a lot worse cameras. Once you get used to it, you can really get used to it. It doesn't really ruin your gameplay that much. I mean, it could be better, but it actually could always be worse, guys. Yes, we know Capcom should have this right since the other cameras in other Resident Evil games are really fucking good. So, yeah, we just gotta deal with it. Hopefully they'll fix it. Another one of my big gripes about this game that really lower it down to make it where it's not perfect, but it's still a great game, is certain parts of the campaigns. Leon's campaign feels like a traditional Resident Evil game. It's very well-paced, a lot slower paced at the beginning, and then it picks up, and it has more of the horror aspects to it, trying to scare you, gives you the intense situations. Yeah. And you get to Chris's campaign, which people start comparing it to Call of Duty, which I never understood. I mean, I get it. Yes, it feels more like a third-person shooter, a lot more like an action game, which makes sense to me since it's Chris Redfield and that's how he was, except for in Resident Evil 1. But he has a military group on his side. Why would you be by yourself the entire time? And truthfully, guys, come on now. This is the 6th Resident Evil game. How much shit have these characters been through, for Christ's sakes? I mean, fuck. All the zombie apocalypse these guys been through, why the hell would you be scared of a zombie now? You basically kill these things for fun. Okay? They wouldn't be scared of them anymore. I just don't believe that. I'm pretty sure there should be shit in your pants if a new thing comes along and almost kills them, yes, but, being scared that a zombie pops out, no. So, Chris's is more action-based, slightly feels like a more basic third-person shooter, except, really cool mutating enemies and a really cool story. I loved it. And then Jake's campaign is a slight mixture between both. More action-oriented, but not as much the third-person shooter because he has a full melee skill, like actual weapon that's all about his fists and using a lot of Wesker's moves, like the palm and the uppercut and all that. And a lot of the game you're running from a creature known as the Ustanak, which a lot of these chase scenes, things you got to sneak around, it'll literally kill you. It's really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. But there's certain points in Chris's and Jake's campaigns especially that are gimmicky as hell and just go on forever. You're like, why is this going on so long? And if you die, you go all the way back to the beginning of this certain part. Like on a turret for way too long, or on a bike, like a snowmobile or something, like way too long. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, it was really drawn out way too fucking long. That's a very big problem with me. I mean, if they took those parts out and had something a little bit cooler, I think it would have been more successful. But again, every game has its problems. Let's go to the extra modes. They added a new mode called Agent Hunt Mode, which allows you to join other people's campaigns as the infected and try to kill them as your only purpose. Basically, it's a game mode meant for griefers, to be honest with you. You can turn them off. You can turn the Agent Hunt mode off when you're playing your campaign, so you don't have to. But if you want the extra challenge, go ahead and turn it on. And the famous Mercenaries is back. Except it's, you know, a lot more fun in my opinion. Not enough characters, but it's a lot more fun with the new controls, in my opinion. So it works. Let's get to some game mechanics that are different from the other Resident Evil games. You no longer buy your weapons and upgrade them. You find the weapons throughout the campaign, which actually it works still. Like, it still makes it feel more like Resident Evil, because you did find weapons in the Resident Evil games, but not finding a store and be able to upgrade them is like in between store upgrades, or, you know, the merchant. I kind of missed that. I'm not even gonna lie, I really did. I kind of wish they had that still. Instead, they traded off for a skill point system. Killing certain enemies will give you skill points, and you find them in boxes and stuff like that. Allows you to buy upgrades you can put to your character, like defense, firearm upgrades, you know, and eventually infinite ammo when you are good enough to buy them. You know, I like it. It's a cool system. Like, I really do. I wish that it would have been like Resident Evil 5, where like how you got infinite ammo is by beating the mission, and you got these certain points that were separate from the gold and the money in the shop system. So I wish they would have done that. It would have been a lot better in my opinion. But you know, it's just a gripe with me. I think some Resident Evil fans will agree with me about that one, but it doesn't make the game unplayable, and it really does still feel like a Resident Evil game. I mean, I felt like I was in Resident Evil still. I mean, it was amazing. I literally just played Resident Evil 5 today because I got it back, and played Resident Evil 6. They still feel the same to me. They still feel like Resident Evil guys. I say, if you have any opinions on this game, I say really play this game first. Play it, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. You see, I would give this game an 8 out of 10. No higher, no lower. No 7.5, no 8. No, just a solid 8. It's a really amazing game. I think it's a really good. I mean, it promised on a lot it wanted to do. It's, you know, it could have been better, but, you know, yeah, I like that a lot. Oh, and I'm sorry. I almost forgot about the health system. The health system is different now. Instead of vials of green and red herbs, you get green and herbs that turn into pills. Each pill recovers a section of your health. I like this system because, well, it allows you to micromanage your health a little bit better, and it just allows you to know how much health you can actually heal when you want to, instead of having like just one green and red herb and you're about to die and you have to use that many. You have to use all of it, and it just sucks. Like, you lose half your health, and you know a red and green herb can restore all of it, but the next shot could kill you because it's a boss. It's just, guys, just look at it. I promise you'll like it. That's just my opinion. So, yeah, I'd give this game a solid 8. These mixed reviews are kind of ridiculous. This game didn't need this many mixed reviews. People are just bitching way too much, or just, I don't understand it. So, yeah, that's my review of Resident Evil 6. Hope you enjoy it. This is Garrett Westfall, signing off.